What happened while we were away, brought to you by the POX, the World Health Organization's chief poobah, Dr. Tedros, after one of his own panels ruled against declaring monkeypox as an international threat, overruled them and made this announcement.
For all of these reasons, I have decided that the global monkeypox outbreak represents a public health emergency of international concern.
Who knows what that means? Monkeypox, which is primarily spread by homosexual men engaging in sodomy, was detected in 2 U.S. children for the first time. Both children had contact with homosexual men. The CDC isn't issuing warnings to homosexuals to ease off going down to Browntown. Instead, they've released this advice for how to have sex if you have monkeypox. Try virtual sex, masturbate 6 feet apart, wash afterwards, avoid kissing, wear clothes, and cover your rash. Meanwhile, one of the last fascistic holdouts from the previous virus is making a comeback, as Ian Miller at Outkick points out. Muzzling kids is back in fashion, and not just in places like LA County or New York City. Places like Louisville, Kentucky, San Diego, California, and elsewhere announced recently they're going back to making your kids wear face diapers as well this coming school year. Debbie Birx is still out on her media circuit pimping her new book. She was asked by Fox News' Neil Cavuto about Joe Biden's COVID infection, the latest high-profile breakthrough COVID case.
Well, if you're across the South and you're in the middle of this wave, what's going to save you right now is Paxlovid. But once we get through this wave, during that lull, you should get vaccinated and boosted, because we do believe it will protect you, particularly if you're over 70. I knew these vaccines were not going to protect against infection, and I think we overplayed the vaccines, and it made people then worry that it's not going to protect against severe disease and hospitalization. It will.
In completely unrelated news, a new paper from the University of Ulsan College of Medicine in South Korea lays the blame of kidney failure in a healthy 16-year-old girl squarely at the feet of Pfizer's COVID jab. The paper says monitoring kidney function in children and adolescents is warranted if they take the jab. White House coronavirus response coordinator Ashish Jha updated us on Biden's condition.
And as you all saw just a few minutes ago, the president is doing better. He slept well last night. He ate his breakfast and lunch. He actually showed me his plate.
According to the Washington Free Beacon, Dr. Anthony Fauci, when and if he retires in 2025, will have a higher salary than the President of the United States. Here's an oldie but a goodie. Bill Gates told the BBC back in May his views on tennis superstar Novak Djokovic's defiance of vaccine mandates.
It's unfortunate if somebody's health concerns are so extreme that they feel they can't participate in that community protection. If they're an inspirational and trusted person, then if they're spreading that, it just makes it tougher to get the vaccination levels that we really need. I admire him in a lot of ways, but I wish his views on vaccines weren't that way.
Moving on, Kamala Gook update.
So when I think about what we need to do to address mayor, what ultimately does so often fall on the shoulders of our mayors to address on a community level, we need to take action at the federal level.
When she wasn't saying nothing, she was inciting violence in the name of baby killing.
You'll fight it in the courts, but you also fight it streets, which is about organizing the people.
The U.S. is set to send another $250 million of aid to Ukraine. Speaking of corrupt and crazy, here's Congresswoman Liz Cheney.
I haven't really, at this point, I have not made a decision about 2024. And I am really very focused on the substance of what we have to do on the Select Committee.
Cheney is facing a primary in August in her congressional re-election bid, which she has a decent shot at losing. So naturally, of course, if she loses that, President of the United States is a logical next step. A court in Canada has ruled in favor of an Alberta pastor who was at the center of numerous brushes with the law in the past couple of years over COVID restrictions. The court ruled Artur Pawlowski was unlawfully fined, arrested, and jailed for holding a church service in defiance of a ban on worship services. And that's what happened while we were away.